people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
There are spoiler alerts here if you intend to see the movie, which most likely 100% of your audience does not. They replace the prince with a common criminal. So there is a prince-like figure, but he's no longer a prince. He's a criminal. They clearly want to diminish the love story. I think after the backlash from those comments a year and a half ago, whenever they were, they did beef up the love story a little bit, but nevertheless...
entitled narcissistic brat.
But I was basically the only person in the theater. Very few people wanted to see this. Even the little kids who like Disney movies, even they don't seem to be turning up in droves for the movie because the movie is really, really bad.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
Oh my God.
And I can only hope
What does that mean?
that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
This is what theaters look like across the world, and it just keeps getting worse. The memes. Let's say that you were in a Hollywood movie, and the trailer for that movie dropped on YouTube, and it instantly became the #1 most downvoted trailer in the history of the platform.
The movie was absolutely terrible. It's not the single worst movie I've ever seen, but in every way that the movie differed from the beloved 1937 original, it was worse.
The reason we had Rachel Zegler on the docket is she's an asshole. I think it's fair to say that no one can stand the star of this movie.
She continued celebrating herself by posting that she's in the #1 movie in the world, which is a remarkable thing to post when you are the laughingstock of an entire industry. This is what narcissism looks like. Narcissism for 200.
Now, ever since the debut of Snow White, it has been nothing more than a box office disaster, not just for the Walt Disney Company and Bob Iger as the CEO, but also for Rachel Zegler.
How it was so outdated and how Rachel Zegler disrespected the original. And a classic from Walt Disney, something that completely saved Disney and changed the company and changed animation in general.
Because Rachel Zegler is a PR nightmare. This is truly, like, she has to go. I'm sorry, Disney. She has to go.
This movie was like you took the original Snow White and just put everything through this filter. So from the casting to the class politics, it all was just bad.
Now, if there's one thing to glean from this, it's actually the sheer quality of the negative reviews. So let me read you some clips. I paid nothing to watch the trailer, but I want my money.
Oh, that's nice. Nice job. The movie has all kinds of problems that could be pinned partly on the producer. Like the producer did not do a good job. Nobody who produced this movie did a good job.
This is someone who is as entitled as, I don't need your business.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
So the movie had all kinds of problems creatively and conceptually, but there's no doubt that she drove the final nail into this movie's coffin. She probably drove the final 2 or 3 nails into the coffin.
There's a reason why the public has shifted. If you can't avoid this movie, you absolutely should, because it's absolute crap.
Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again. Because this woman is a pig, and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
I was referring to the movie as sand beige, and it was so noticeable off the top, but it's no really knock on her. If you did the autobiography of Malcolm X, would you cast Tom Hanks? If you remade Moana, would you cast a little Irish guy? No, you wouldn't. So that was off the top.
I know some people like this movie. Some people are stupid. Oops!
Nobody wanted to believe it, but now it's undeniable Disney's bold reimagining of Snow White has bombed at the box office. Once positioned to redefine the studio's legacy and crown Rachel Zegler as the next Disney icon, the project has instead turned into a historic disaster. From the outset, Disney built the remake as a brave, modern twist on a beloved classic, but now, critics are ripping it apart, ticket sales have collapsed, and what was supposed to be a fairy tale has become a cautionary tale. Behind the scenes, sources say Zegler is not coping well. The very movie that was meant to launch her into stardom has instead triggered a public unraveling. Opening weekend numbers painted a bleak picture. The film couldn't even reach its lowest projections. Theaters were half empty, and social media quickly filled with footage of deserted screenings. Industry insiders described it as a full-system failure, and it's hard to argue otherwise. For Zegler, who poured her heart, voice, and brand into the role, the silence from audiences was deafening. Once hailed as a rising star, she now finds herself at the center of backlash she seemingly never saw coming. The criticism isn't new, but it has grown louder and more relentless. For months, Zegler's past interviews had already sparked controversy. Her comments about rejecting the original story, criticizing Prince Charming, and insisting on a progressive reimagining rubbed many the wrong way. Instead of charming audiences, her tone felt dismissive. Rather than honoring the classic, she seemed to mock it, and as the movie flopped, those old clips resurfaced with renewed fury. The reaction was swift. Online forums turned hostile. Critics accused Zegler of arrogance. YouTube channels dissected every soundbite, every statement, every red carpet moment. Entire videos now exist cataloging what went wrong, treating the film's failure as a pop culture case study. One viral post summed up the sentiment. She made fun of the story, then blamed us for not liking it. That quote became a rallying cry. Even her fans are turning cold. Sympathy is scarce. What was once a bold attempt at storytelling is now widely seen as Hollywood's latest example of being out of touch. It wasn't just that the film was different, it was the attitude behind it. Audiences felt talked down to, not inspired. Now, the fallout is everywhere. Merchandise tied to the movie is floundering. Dolls based on Zegler's likeness are gathering dust on store shelves. One major retailer reportedly pulled promotional items due to lack of interest. A scheduled appearance of the live-action Snow White character at a Disney park was quietly cancelled. Fans weren't shocked, they were amused. Zegler's once busy social media presence has grown eerily quiet. Her feed, once filled with behind-the-scenes smiles and promotional energy, has gone dark. In a cryptic Instagram story, she wrote, "Taking time to reflect only made things worse." The replies were brutal. Reflect on what? The box office, one user shot back. The platform that once amplified her voice has become a minefield she can't navigate. Inside Disney, things aren't much better. Executives are reportedly in panic mode. Sources say internal meetings are pointing fingers mostly at Zegler. Her controversial interviews are being referenced as PR disasters. Some insiders want to minimize her visibility in future marketing. Others warn that dropping her entirely would send a bad message. Either way, she's no longer the face of Disney's future. At best, she's now seen as a hard lesson. Zegler's team attempted damage control. They proposed a round of heartfelt interviews to soften her image. The plan backfired. Critics labeled the move calculated and tone-deaf. The public didn't buy it. She's not sorry. One popular comment read, "She's just sorry." Flopped. The backlash is even spilling into the cast. One anonymous crew member told a trade outlet, "We all worked hard on this, but the focus became her interviews, not the movie. Now no one wants to go on record defending her." That silence from co-stars is noticeable and telling. Late-night comedians have taken notice, too. Jokes about the failed remake are everywhere. One sketch joked, "She tried to write her own fairy tale." The audience wrote her out. It's harsh, but it's now part of the mainstream narrative. Zegler, who once proudly challenged the old Disney model, is now becoming the symbol of a Hollywood misfire. The broader industry is watching closely. Executives are reportedly rethinking how they approach reboots, especially those that appear to disrespect their source material. "We thought we were being bold," one unnamed exec admitted. "Turns out, we were just being reckless." The lesson: don't remake a classic by insulting the original. Don't cast someone who seems more interested in tearing down than building up. Snow White wasn't just a box office failure, it's become a cultural warning shot. As of now, Zegler hasn't made an official statement. No apology, no follow-up, just silence. And in that silence, a new story is forming, one of overconfidence, misread audiences, and the collapse of what should have been a dream opportunity. She didn't lose the audience because she was bold. She lost them because she appeared dismissive of the very thing they loved. The fairy tale is over, the castle is empty, and the magic, it vanished the moment those ticket sales came in. Whether Zegler has a long-term future in Hollywood remains to be seen. Talented or not, her name will now be forever linked to one of Disney's biggest modern flops. This wasn't just a misstep. It was a story about how quickly the spotlight can turn, how goodwill can vanish, and how even a princess can lose the crowd. and maybe, just maybe, it's a reminder to Hollywood. If you want to rewrite a classic, start by respecting why it was beloved in the first place.